When discussing energy, it's important to also be aware of the term power. Power is given the variable capital letter P and is the rate of work. Power is the rate of work, which means that P is work divided by time. This is given the units, obviously, joules per second, which is then redefined as watts. The total amount of power a system has is its watts, and this is something that you're fairly familiar with if you've changed a light bulb anywhere. 65 watts is dimmer than 100 watts in a light bulb, and that is a measurement of how quickly the energy of the electricity is being transformed into light for a given system. Obviously, more power equals more energy, which results as more brightness in terms of the light bulb. You may have also heard of it in terms of horsepower. 1 horsepower, or 1 HP is defined as 746 watts. Of course, horsepower is what's used in cars, but it's a non-SI unit that literally was a transformation of how much energy a horse could transfer in a period of time. And the calculation or the standard conversion is 746 watts. This is useful for calculating the power of a vehicle when it's presented in these particular units. But power itself is a fairly easy concept to understand. If you think about work being accomplished, if I had a barbell and each one of these was 100 pounds, well, it doesn't matter. If it was a certain mass, right, and I wish to lift that off the ground, and I lift it up into the air, when I get over here, I have done a certain amount of work, applied a force over a displacement d in order to gain energy up here. So now I have potential energy due to gravity, right? That work transitioned the energy into a potential, which then if I let go, this would fall and change the kinetic. However, it's not unreasonable to imagine that if I took this and broke these into pieces, and I took them one at a time, and I took 10 pounds and carried it up D, and then I took 10 more pounds, 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 and I repeated that until I had the same amount of mass up in the air in order to create that set potential energy. The result would be the same amount of potential energy, which means that I've done the same amount of work. And so it's important to note that you could lift 200 pounds and I could lift 200 pounds, but you would do it suddenly and all in one motion, and I would do it repetitively over a much longer displacement, technically, by thinking of each individual displacement for each individual piece being added together, and of course a longer time frame. This is why we think of the Olympics when it comes to power lifting. In power lifting, a competitor comes out and picks up 600, 800, 1,000 pounds and quickly lifts it above their head and puts it back down. This happens suddenly in a short period of time, and generally those people are very strong and they are lifting a whole lot of weight, right? And so they are called power lifters. If I were to lift 1,000 pounds, I could lift 1 pound 1,000 times. It may take me all day, like moving a brick patio from one place to another. I don't pick up the entire patio and transfer it to a place, right? I pick up one brick and carry one brick, and then I go back and carry another brick, and then I carry another brick, and so on, right? And that time frame indicates that while I may be accomplishing the same energy, I'm not doing it nearly at the same rate. And so power would be a measurement of how fast I am able to transition the energy from one form to another. This is valuable in another sense if we consider expanding the formula for work, starting with power as being work divided by time. We also know that work is force times displacement. If I expand that and apply it here, I now see that what this is force times distance divided by time. And assuming that the displacement divided by time is a constant, this would be velocity. And so power can also be thought of as being a force applied at a velocity, which is also useful when thinking about large systems moving. The amount of force at a particular speed that they are able to apply is a generated power as well.